Hey guys, welcome back once again. And in today's video, we're going to discuss about the EmSAT Achieve Math test, that is the part of Algebra, chapter number 9, Vectors. So if you have not gone through my previous videos, please follow the link given in the description box below, and you can go through all the topics which has been discussed previously. And also, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe and click on the bell icon that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. And also share to your friends and the classmates so they all can also get benefited of it. All right. Okay, so let's get started with the vectors. Chapter number 9 is vectors. When I'm talking about vectors, you might think about like a physics, because vectors we mainly study in physics, something saying a quantity which has both magnitude and directions, we call it as a vectors. Example, velocity. So when I'm talking in terms of math, vector is just an equation given to us. So they have given us the equations in a xy plane, and I just need to do some basic math operations like addition of vectors, subtraction, find the magnitude, find the resultant vector, magnitude of the resultant vector, angle between the vectors and stuff. These are the things what you need to learn. So here I have taken few important questions what you can expect in exam based on this topic. The first question here is, if a equals to 3i plus 4j is a vector, the magnitude of vector is. They're asking us what will be the magnitude of vector A. What does the magnitude refers? And first of all, what is 3i, 4j is representing? Let me explain here. I and j is representing here just an x and the y component. So if I say this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, I we call it as unit vector along the x-axis. I is named as unit vector along x-axis. So unit vector along x-axis, we can say x-axis, and j is the unit vector along y-axis. So that's what I can say. It means we are talking about the I and j. What do you mean by unit? Unit whose value is gonna be 1. So I can say this is I, and we can say the unit vector along the y-axis, we name it as j. Now what we are talking about here, 3i means 3 multiplied by I is basically the vector along the x-axis, and 4 multiplied by j is the vector along the y-axis. If I'm talking in terms of their coordinate, so if I say here 1, 2, 3, 4, and in terms of j, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So what is the point corresponds to 3i is this, and 3i is here, and 4j, 3i I can go straight, and 4j is, this is the point what I can say, the vector v which has 3i comma 4j as their quadrant. Question asking me what is the magnitude. Now what is the value of magnitude? Basically, magnitude is basically the length from the origin to this point. This we call it as a magnitude of a vector A. So here you can see that x and the y here, after all, it is representing a right angle triangle. I can just make it as, this is whole thing is representing as 3i, and this whole thing is representing as 4j. I and j are just telling us we are along the x-axis and y-axis, but while calculating what I can say, the magnitude, while applying the Pythagorean rule, we just need to apply that. So how do we find the magnitude of the vector? Not necessary to memorize. Let me show you. Almost all the formulas, whatever we need in vectors, will be given to us. For example, here you can see that. So vector formulas here, v is equals to ai plus bj, that is the general way how the vector will be represented and which will be given to us. And as I said, I is the unit vector along the x-axis, j is the unit vector along the y-axis. This all has been given to us. We are looking for it. Magnitude of the vector v, basically here, I find it by using the equation. Square root of number with I square plus number with j square, regardless whether they are positive or negative. This is what the formula I'm going to use, and which will be given to us. I'm going to use the same thing here. The magnitude of vector A magnitude will be square root of number with I square, that is 3 square, plus number with j square, which is 4 square. Don't put I and j along with that, just take numbers. So that gives me square root of 9 plus square root of, square root of 9 plus 16. Or else it's just a calculator part, okay? So square root of 9 plus 16, that gives me 5. So I must say the magnitude of the vector 3i plus 4j is gonna be 5, and that's what they are expecting us to solve. Just use a formula, no need of sketching and all. I'm just making you to understand. When they ask me about the magnitude, take the values with I, square it, plus take the value with j, square it, and take a square root of it, as the formula already given. So I go up with option C. Before going to the next question, see what are the formulas has been given in this. So vector formula has been given, general way notation, and how to find the magnitude has been given to us. And also you can also see that how do we find the dot product of the vector. When they ask you to find the dot product, so generally we write it as u dot v is equals to a1 into a2 plus b1 into b2. So what actually, let's take u is this vector, v is this vector. While finding the dot product, I just need to multiply the like term. Multiply the term present with I, that is a1 times a2, plus multiply the number present with j. So don't include I and j with that, just multiplying the like terms here. So a1 into a2 plus b1 into b2, that gives me the result of a dot product. And they do ask a question about finding the angle between the vectors. These are all the formula which I have taken from the what the ministry has provided, and this will be available to you use in your main exam as well. So when a question asks us to find the angle between the vector, again this is the formula what I use. Formula has given to us cos theta is equals to u dot v divided by magnitude of u times magnitude of v. So I know how to find the dot product by previous formula, and I also know how to find the magnitude as per the first question. By knowing that, we can find the angle. But here, this formula has given to us in terms of cos of the theta. So while finding the theta, you have to use theta is equals to cos inverse of u dot v divided by magnitude of u times magnitude of v, because we are asked to find the theta, but the formula has given in cosine theta. So how do we get from cosine theta, cosine theta only to theta? To make that, so you have to press on the button shift, then press cos, automatically takes cos inverse. Okay, so it's just a matter of calculator, put it and get it done. So now let's go to the question side. Question number 2 here is, if a is equals to 3i minus 4j and b is equals to 5i plus 2j are the vectors, find angle between the vector a and b. Round your answer to nearest integer. They are asking us find the angle between the vector and round your values to the nearest integer. What actually they are asking us? There are two vectors. Let me just show you in a rough way. Let's take this is the vector b whose value is given as 5i plus 2j, and a is another vector which is written as a equal to 3i minus 4j. Now question asking us if a and b are the two vectors, find the angle between them. What will be the value of theta, and also round your answer to nearest integer. Now we have a formula. What formula we have to find the angle between the vector? As I already mentioned, angle between the vector, we have a formula is cos theta is equals to u dot v divided by magnitude of u times magnitude of v. Here they have given us in terms of a and b. So irrespective of u, v, a, b, it's just like the name notations, but way of solving is gonna be same. So we need to find what is the dot product of the vector, what is the magnitude of individual vector. So let's first find the dot product of the vector AB. So A dot B, as I told while finding the dot product, you just need to multiply the like term. I have shown you previously. So dot product is basically the multiply number with I with number with I. That's the rule which has been given to us. I say 5 times 3 plus multiply number j with j. So here it is going to be 2 times negative 4. So 2 times negative 4. So what I get? 5 times 3 is going to be 15. 2 times negative 4 is going to be negative 8. So dot product of A, B is this. Answer A dot B is equals to 7. Now let's find the magnitude of the vector A. Magnitude of vector A, we have a formula while finding the magnitude. So we know that the square root of only the number, that is 3 square plus. Whenever there is a negative sign, keep a habit that please put it in the bracket and then make it square. If you don't do, then that would be wrong. So I am saying it as, if you are doing it like negative 4 square, you are just squaring this number. This result is still negative. Okay, so you have to make it like, this is not same as negative 4 square. This is the correct one. So this is wrong. So you have to make it in terms of. So whenever there is a way of number negative, you have to put it in the bracket and then you have to square it, cube it, do whatever, but put it in the bracket. So when you put it as it is in the calculator and see what value you get here in terms of, so are we gonna get square root of 3 square plus negative 4 square. I'm getting it as 5. So magnitude of vector A here is gonna be 5. Similarly, find the magnitude of vector B. So square root of, what we're gonna get it as, B is, what is the vector B? 5 and 2. So 5 square plus 2 square. 5 square is 25. 25 plus 2 square is gonna be 4. Or if you want to just use it in the calculator, you can do 5 square plus 2 square. I'm getting it as 5.38. Better, let's keep it in the form square root of 29 itself, because we are not writing all the values when I'm writing in decimal. So let me write it as square root of 29 itself. Now apply this rule. Instead of u dot v, we have a dot b. So put the value here. It's gonna be, what is the answer of it? Angle between that is gonna be cos theta is equals to 7 divided by magnitude of u is same as magnitude of a, 5 times magnitude of b, here it has square root of 29. So I'm replacing magnitude of a with u with a, magnitude of v with b, because u, v, a, b are just the naming, and question asked us to find the angle between them. So I got it in terms of cos theta, but how do we get it as theta? Theta is equals to cos inverse of 7 divided by 5 times square root of 29. And how do I go to cos inverse? You have to press on the button, you have to press on the calculator, shift, press button cos, it will take you to cos inverse, and which is makes the theta alone. Let's take help of calculator. Square root of, shift, cos, type that whatever the value we have, 7 divided by 5 times square root of 29. So close the bracket. I'm getting in very weird way. Press SD. So your calculator might show you in terms of the decimals. Okay, all right. So here what actually happening here? Why I'm getting angle 1.307 something? Because my calculator is in radian. Please keep it in mind. If question asking you to represent angle in radian, you keep it in radian. Usually angle between the vectors are degree, but here my calculator is in the radian mode. Check it out, your mode of the calculator. Don't say 1.38 is the answer. Keep it in degree. So in degree, I'm getting it as change like in a shift mode. If you have Casio FX991, you can put it accordingly, you get answer. I'm getting it as 74.931. So theta is equals to 74.931, and question asked me round your answer to nearest integer. Please agree to the what condition they say. You got answer 74.931, and if you're typing it, it's a filling the blanks type question. Usually most of the filling the blanks type question ask you to round, because if you didn't, then it's treated as wrong. So you have to make it, you have to agree to the what conditions they have included. In this case, nearest 74.93 can be rounded as 75 degree. That will be your answer. So answer to this question is theta is equals to 75 degree after rounding, and that's what the angle between the two vectors. Question number 3 here is, If a particle is moving with a speed of 6 meter per second, angle between the direction of the particle and the x-axis is 30°. They have shown in the graph. What is the vector component of the velocity of the particle along x-axis and y-axis? What they are asking us, what is the vector component of the particle along the x-axis and the y-axis? This is the most important concept what we study in physics. So what is the horizontal velocity? What is the vertical velocity? What we generally talk, because it's a two-dimensional. We are representing in terms of x and y. So they might ask you in math to find the x component and the y component, or x and y component has been given to us. They might ask you question to find magnitude of the vector like I did previously, or angle between the vector as well, in which direction the vector is pointing. So I can still do that by using the trigonometry. So when they say what is the vector component of the velocity of the particle along the x-axis, they are asking us this, whatever we have represented, is the magnitude of the velocity or the speed, and which is making an angle of 30° with x. So 30° is going to be theta here. So while calculating the x component, so we need to apply the trigonometry. So this is, if I say velocity along the x component is vx, velocity along the y component is, let's take vy, and vector is vector can be transformed. Translation of the vector represents the same value because it's representing in the same direction. So that vy I can represent here. It doesn't make any change to the result. Okay, we are looking on the value of it. So this represents 90° triangle now. So in that case, according to the trigonometry, this is gonna be opposite. So I can represent here vy as opposite and vx as adjacent. So if you have a clear idea about SOHCAHTOA, you can do that. Hypotenuse, this is gonna be the hypotenuse what has been given to us. So if I'm looking to solve for vy, which is opposite, angle is known to me, hypotenuse is known to me. So then I have to use the rule so, that is sine of angle theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse. In our case, angle is gonna be 30, so I can write it here as sine 30° is equal to, what is opposite? Vy. What is the hypotenuse? Is gonna be 6. We are asked to solve for vy. Just do cross multiplication and I can write it as vy is equals to 6 multiplied by sine 30. So let me tell you in short, y component of whether it is a velocity or anything, y component is always magnitude multiplied by sine of the angle. So what we're gonna get it as y component here, let's see, 6 times sine 30. So the y component here is gonna be 3. So vy is equals to 3 units. Similarly, we can calculate x component of the vector. So x component is basically adjacent. So let me write it here as cosine. Cosine of angle theta is equal to adjacent by hypotenuse. I'm talking about trigonometry. So here cosine theta, yeah, we have a value of theta as how much? 30°. So cosine 30 is equals to adjacent is vx and hypotenuse is again 6. Just do the cross multiply here. Vx is equals to 6 times cosine 30. Again, what I can conclude, x component of any values, whether it is a vector, force or anything they include, is the magnitude multiplied by the cosine of the value. So let's do this. 6 times cos 30. So that is, I'm getting it as 5.19, or let me write it in terms of 3 root 3. So vy is 3 and x is going to be 3 root 3 in terms of this, or you can also represent in terms of decimal as well. So that's what I get. Vx, it's going to be 3 square root of 3. Vy is going to be 3. Again, this is the filling the blanks type question. You can expect 3 square root of 3 is the x component of the velocity and 3 is the y component. So I can write it as meter per second in terms. So these are the possible type of questions what you can expect. There are any other question they ask you, take help of formula because most of the formulas will be given to us. All right. Thank you so much. That's it for today. All the best.